Olá, seja bem-vindo ao XamasConet, Congresso Internacional de Xamanismo na internet. Agora você assistirá a palestra Sundance, Sundance e Sabedoria Ute, com o casal Shane e Melanie Seibel, que tem suas vidas guiadas pelo Grande Espírito através da Sundance. Shane e Melaine são membros da tribo dos Southern Ute e vivem dentro da reserva. Participam de cerimônias de tenda do suor, Dance, Sundance e celebram o Grande Espírito diariamente. Essa palestra foi gravada dentro da reserva dos Utes do Sul, no Colorado, Estados Unidos. Lembre-se, papel e caneta na mão, tablet ou celular para fazer suas anotações. Aproveite também e se inscreva em nosso canal, curta e compartilhe o link deste vídeo com seus amigos. Esta é uma das formas de você apoiar positivamente este projeto. Fique agora com a fala inspiradora de Shane e Melanie Seibel. Que as melhores energias cheguem até você.
XamasConet, primeiro Congresso Internacional de Xamanismo na internet. Arrou, metacuye oiasim, por todas as nossas relações.
I am Melanie Seibel. My Indian name is Yellow Plume, and I'm the granddaughter of Red Ute and Blue Mist Woman, and also Alcarion Jenny Vigil. My parents are Eddie and Betty Box Jr. I have four siblings, 3 brothers and 1 sister, and I'm married to Shane. And we have 6 children and a daughter-in-law, and we have 5 grandchildren. And I call myself a light being. I consider myself I am a light being.
Hello everybody, my name is Shane Seibel, sitting here at our house on the Southern Ute Reservation. And so I just want to say welcome and to our guests that come in, and my mother and father, Lillian and Harold Seibel. My mother was Ute and Mexican and black, and a little bit of everything. My dad was German Jewish. That's where the name Seibel comes from. And I do have a rich history of very strong Ute women as my grandmother Ruby and Euterpe. They have both gone on to the next world. I'm a father of 6 kids, and my lovely wife Melanie of 23 years, and we have grandchildren, so very excited about that.
What I have learned and experienced and encompass is healing by maintaining harmony with all things, and it's through a connection with our Father or Creator. There's many names. And then connecting to the earth in the core and bringing those together and creating in harmony so that all of this, we all become one with it. So me maintaining harmony with all things, and through that, that's the way of healing. And having that awareness to listen of that point of origin, to know what my choices here, and creating that healing and listening and being open and aware of all things.
Yes, that was the Ute way from our hundreds of years ago that was passed along. Our people came from the mountains. They lived off of the land, the deer meat, the elk meat, the berries, and they were very self-reliant. But they understood we all had a connection to everything, to all the things that Creator has put on this earth, and even the visitors that come to this earth, star people, they've all shared that and saying really the healing takes place within you. It's not external, it's internal. And so finding that connection, and for the men who always start to work with their hands, and we could feel that connection, that automatic feeling, that touching, and we've lost it at times, but we continue to strengthen that within ourselves, and that happens within our ceremonies as well. For us as Southern Utes, we do in a way that is individual families, how your rite of passage can take place. It can take place in bear dance. It can take place in Sundance. As you become initiated in that, it can be taking place in many different forms, but there's no one specific Ute that we know of that was passed along. But there is, family by family basis on how that takes place. For us, for our family, Sundance, bear dance, and the sweat lodge, bringing in our children at a young age, to really a rite of passage for that. Entering into the Sundance lodge as a young man is a rite of passage. Going into the bear dance and dancing is a rite of passage. So it happens in many, many forms. Yeah.
And also with powwow, and dancing and just having, for us, having our children participate in all of those things. And so having our children dance when they're younger, and to carry down outfits that our grandmothers wore, grandfathers, and then with what he had said, through the different ceremonies, taking them into sweat when they're still babies, and so having that connection, letting them have that connection, and where that leads them.
Mm-hmm.
The woman is the healer, is the leader in a sense, to help the men and ourselves and our children and the land, and it's through that connection with Creator and the earth, and so it's it's my responsibility to have the connection and to be aware, and so that I can recognize my children in this world today, recognize recognize themselves, have an awareness of them, and him having awareness of himself, and me having an awareness of myself. And so with our children, it's so important to teach them the fundamentals of self, of a space, and recognition of what comes in and out of that. So it's recognizing through thought, through words, and through touch, a physical touch. And there's others too. And so recognizing their choice and what they're doing, and then what comes back, what they create, what they manifest. And so having an understanding of everything that happens to them, and recognizing the tools available for them to have that awareness through sweat, through prayer, through fasting, through dancing, and through interaction with the earth and interaction with people, with animals, to have an open awareness to anything, and having those tools available at that moment, and to be in the moment, and to recognize their thoughts in that, so that they can make the best decision that they can with that connection and awareness. That's my responsibility.
And yeah, as a part of that too, the women, the way us men, we talk about it is the women are the medicine. And so it's our job as men to take care of that medicine to the very best that we can, to make sure it's cultivated, make sure that medicine is helping, and so that's our job. Yeah, the Sundance. I remember seeing it as a kid, being a part of it with my family, and actually seeing her grandpa running it, because it was just a little ways away from my house. And Sundance, I think it's been 14 years now that I've participated for the behalf of my family. That's what Sundancing is all about. It's really not about me. It is, but then in a way, it's about, my family, my wife, all our connections, all our relations. And as I was brought into Sundance, it was an amazing experience. And so Sundance for us can range from 3 days to a 4-day fast, dry fast, no food, no water. And we have a corral that symbolizes our connection. And it's a beautiful ceremony that I enjoy the break, because we're in there with the men, and we get to kind of take a break from society, get to break from electronics and all the things that kind of surround us and that we're with every day. But to go in there and to pray and to find our connection. That sacrifice. Yes, and that's what Sundance is about, and we hope to pass that along to our sons and to our nephews, and really the important part about the Sundance is spirit within that pole and the community that comes together. And the women, they have the toughest job because they're outside of the corral. They have so much work to do. As I took a year off and went, whoa, this is tough. I want to go dance again. That's somewhat easier, in that way. But Sundance is about our connection with spirit and how we go about that so that we can help the world.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of patience. During that time, because we've been together for a long time, and then him going in for a long time, that our awareness gets heightened. So being on the outside, just feeling and sensing more, and for the woman, we are ensuring that the camp that we have is running. We have our children, we have guests, and so it's my responsibility to ensure that everybody is, of course, responsible for themselves and what they're doing in helping themselves and the dancers. We get up before sunrise. We get up before sunrise and come and support the dancers. And then on the third day, every day, after we go see them in the morning, we come back and we prepare hot towels and, wring out all of the water. We ensure that there's no water in them, just enough where it's damp. And then we come and they take a break and they clean themselves off. And then they go and dance, and then we go and support them. At the same time, the camp, everybody's fed, ensuring that and coming back. And then ourselves, we have to ensure that we do not smell of food or just be very appropriate in that way where, if we're cooking at the camp, we change our clothes so that we're not going over there and smell like food for them. And so, and then we cover ourselves too, because when they're in there, their senses are arising. As they confront themselves, their senses are arising. So we do what we can to help them in that process, to where we're not distracting them in any way. And if we're supposed to, I guess we are, but if not, we do our best. And then not only do we do the towels in the morning, we do them in the afternoon. Because in July here on our reservation, it gets very hot. And so they're in the sun And so we'll prepare cold towels and do that, and they'll have the break in the afternoon and have that. And then we go and we sing. We sing the Sundance songs. And just help create that environment where it's nurturing, and that's what we do with our camp. And then on the third day, I think it's the third day,
We get willows.
we get willows. We wake up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and before the sun comes up, we go and we cut willows and
Sage,
cattails, water mint. We go do that, a group of us, and while we're doing this, we're praying, we're connecting with the earth to acknowledge and appreciate that we're being given this, given the cattails, given all of these things, these gifts to give to them. And the reason why we cut so early in the morning is because the dew is still on the cattails and the plants, and that the dew is the natural dew, and that's what we take and prepare them, cut them, make sure that they are in a presentable way, and with a lot of just
Love.
our love and our work in it, and then take it to them so that they could use that however they need that in that way. And so we do that on Saturday, maybe.
Saturday.
And then on Sunday, and if they do need it on Monday, we'll do that for Monday. So, we're doing our best to just be as calm through that process, because being a woman and having children and trying to run a household and doing all of those things could make you very
Short-tempered.
and irritated. So I do let guests know that, that of course they have to take care of themselves emotionally, physically, spiritually, and know that when a human is going through that, we will go through those emotions, so that we just respect each other in that way, and not take anything personally. Just know that we're all here to help each other out. So it's a lot of work.
But it's well worth it, because our community really...
it helps the
what helps the world, we feel. We feel the Sundances, the ceremony helps the entire world. And that consciousness, that awareness, that responsibility that we all must take on our journey of treating people kindly, and remembering those things, and honoring our women that work so hard. And like we said, they're the medicine. We're the helpers. And that's what Sundance is there for us.
My brother at this time is the Bear Dance chief, Matthew Box. I don't really know exactly the story they tell everyone now, but I do know the story of what had happened with the Indian people when the soldiers came, and when they came, they were slaughtering the Indian people. They were slaughtering the people here, men, women, children. And so the people, the natives, recognized that and said, we need to continue, our tribe. We need to continue our people. So we are going to ensure that the woman gets pregnant, has a child, and we will try any means to ensure that she is pregnant. So she will be with different men to ensure. And she did have her partner. And so when the child, whoever the father was, her partner was the father and took care of the child and the mother. And so, but in that idea, or that became a ceremony, and then it just transpired into the bear dance. And I don't know how, I don't know the original story, or not the original, but the story about the bear. And I think you probably know that better than I do.
Well, now it's kind of transformed into life. Yeah. Not only the story of the beginning, the conception of man and woman, but also the relationship between nature, how trees get pollinated, how bears come out, the bear dance, celebrating the bear come awakening out of its sleep, and to have life, and celebrating life and how it's conceived in all aspects. And so it's a celebration now for us of life and of the bear and the meaning of the bear, what it means to us, and the unique songs. It's a Ute ceremony that hasn't been anywhere else but with the Ute people. Now has evolved into a ceremony about life and about springtime and about the honoring of the bear, and how we're all related in that, and how we can come to the bear dance, and maybe we're having a tough year, maybe things are just rough on us. Well, we can go and we offer to the cedar trees, to the juniper, and start anew, and we can let that go and feel refreshed and knowing that we have our strength back. And of course it's a place to socialize and meet girl and boy when they're young, and so you have that, and you have relatives that come from all parts of Ute country, and we get together and we eat and we celebrate and dance and have a big feast at the end, and
also the endurance.
And the endurance.
To see the young man seeing the girl that has the most endurance, and then of course the girl seeing the same thing, and then the parents, and seeing who could continue dancing and keep going. And so that last song, it can last up to an hour and a half. That
Several
one song.
hours.
Yeah. And so at the bear dance, they have 2 trees, and one side is the female and one side is the male. And so the female sit on this side and the male on this side, and it's a woman's dance. And so the men will start, the singers will start, they're growlers is what they call them, and it sounds like a bear.
Mm-hmm. Like they say, a bear scratching at the tree.
And so they're doing that, and they start, and so the women go and pick, and the men have to dance. They cannot decline. And so if you are a male coming, once you enter those grounds, you are available to be picked by any of the women. And
because it's a lady's choice.
Yeah, it's a woman's dance. And so if a man just does not or anything like that, then he is to give her money in return. And there is the cat man, and Shane is a cat man, where he has his whip or like a willow, and he helps the women. He ensures that the men are accountable and come out and dance. And then also after they pick, they get in line, and the women are facing the north. And is it, or is it west? Because this is east, and they're
facing west.
The west, and the male are facing the east. And so they start their dance together, just
line formation.
A line formation, a long line. Sometimes there's 3 lines, and everyone's going together, and the cat man's job is to ensure that everyone is in line, and they're all dancing, and then they'll have the next day where they will allow them to become partners, and they'll break. And so the cat man comes and he'll break them, and so then you merge with your partner, and then you dance amongst everybody in there. So you are navigating your way through all these people, even the little kids there, when they're ready, then they'll dance. And so as dancers, we do not want to fall, and if that happens, that's okay.
But back in the old days, the dance would be over.
It'd end. So, but now they say a prayer, and then give, it's connecting so that the healing goes to the family and to all that need to receive healing at that time. And then and then they go back. Some of them have to sit out for like 3 dances, and then they can come back in. And so on the last day, my brother allows a dance just for the young kids, because on the last dance, they don't allow the younger ones to dance because they're more susceptible to falling. And once they fall, the dance is over. And so they'll do a special dance just for the young kids so they could, dance hard. And then it's just an honor to see that too, to see our young children, they're doing that. And then on that last song, it's the endurance. It's like a competition. Who's going to win, the singers or the dancers? And so, the singers will sing, and like he said, maybe 2 hours. And it's just the endurance. How far can you go? And you could have a partner, you're one partner, and you're dancing, and it's tough. After a while, it's tough, but you keep going, and until either somebody falls, or if we don't fall, then the group finally says, "I'm tired. You guys beat us. We're done.
Dancers.
We're done." And so what my brother does is, he does the prayer. He does a ceremony before they start the bear dance, and then he does one. And at the end, we appreciate, we acknowledge. And then what the dancers do, or the people, they have an item, or the woman will take a part of her shawl off and tie it to the tree when it's over. And that is giving thanks. And then my brother will take those, for ceremony and do what he is to do with them. And so it's that acknowledging and that appreciating and giving that experience and thanking to the woman tree and the man tree, and appreciating in that way. So.
Well, there's many stories. But when we go down to the museum, there's some specific stories, like I said, that have come down from families. But the Utes, they didn't have a written language. It wasn't a written language. They were very nomadic, and they were in the mountains to the plains to all 4 states. And so they were the last last Indians to be placed on a reservation. And because they couldn't find them. Knew that they were there, the Utes were there, but since they were in the mountains in different areas, they were so hard to come across. And so there was really not any written world creation stories other than storytelling. And, the one story I heard was about the coyote. And
yeah, we were told, but we're people of point of origin. Ceremony is with the point of origin, and Sundance is connecting with point of origin, and so how I was raised with my grandparents and our family through ceremony. And just where I'm at this moment is that we all come from the stars, and we're here on this planet to have an experience. And at this current time, we've had other extraterrestrial beings that wanted to gain from our own experience, and so they have done some pretty awful things, which is why Native American people, went through the oppression and colonization. That was part of the plan, and even the people in the United States are experiencing the same thing. And the people in other countries are seeing that and starting to experience the tip of that. Native people in other countries are starting to see that big hand coming in to say that they know what's better for them. And so we've been compromised in that way with these other beings that want this gain. And so we here on this planet, some of us have forgotten where we came from or what we came here for. And so we just continue this cycle until we wake up and we go, oh my gosh, this is what's happening. And then we start our awakening process and begin to connect and do what it is that we came here for, and what we were intended to do. And so it's just we all come from the stars here for an experience, and we have guidance from our star brothers, the star people, and them guiding and connecting with us, and what I've experienced and have learned is that the people, the Indian people, and here on this reservation, is that they have ceremony has shifted in some ways to include these other beings. And so I think it's only natural at times for men or people to want power. And so what they do is they connect with these extraterrestrial beings, whether they know it or not, to gain power, which means oppressing people to do that. And that has happened here on our reservation, and I've seen it on other reservations, and just for power to be that Indian who knows how to do these things, but it's done in a unharmonious way. I don't know the word, but kind of in that way.
So the creation.
So and so it's just us recognizing who we are and our potential, and remembering and connecting again with our ancestors, who are the star beings, all of us. And so that's what I know, or that I live.
And that's the creation.
Yeah.
That's the whole creation
It's like a
story, is
point
staying
of
in the
origin.
now and then recognizing. Yeah. You wanna start?
My grandmother, Blue Mist Woman, she passed away when I was 3, and yet she's my greatest teacher. And her words were, be aware and be good. And so telling everyone, recognize who you are, and have self-actualization. See who you are, hear who you are, and experience and love who you are, and live in a good way.
Well, I would like to say thank you. How wonderful Spirit works. We're sitting here being interviewed, Samuel, right? And we met in Bolivia, and how Spirit had brought us to Bolivia and brought me with Miguel, and then we met the drum group, and you were a moon mother, and so taking time to really appreciate, for me as a man, is to appreciate the gifts of God, appreciate the little things that happen that bring you close together, that you learn from, even from falling down and scraping yourself. You get back up and you appreciate those lessons, and live in the now, and like my honey said, know who you are, Find out who you are. Find out your relations. And look at your culture, because everybody has culture. Everybody. Family culture, society culture, group culture, you know, and enjoy that part of it. But also to be a warrior, to stand up for what you believe in, to not be controlled in that way, to, you know, find resiliency and your passion, like you guys have your passion, and to continue that, and Spirit will do amazing things. And take
you to amazing places.
And in our language, you know, I'd like to say, Panikiavat, there's no goodbyes in Ute. There's always until we meet again. And so until we meet again, Panikiavat, many blessings to all of you, and aho.
Thank you. Yahweh, 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 Yahweh,
Gostou da palestra? Se você chegou até aqui, provavelmente sim. Sou Samuel Souza de Paula, idealizador do XamasConet, Congresso Internacional de Xamanismo na internet, e autor do livro Práticas Bioxamânicas, Despertar das Capacidades Interiores. E é uma alegria saber que está prestigiando este evento, onde grandes condutores xamânicos compartilham as melhores práticas para o reconhecimento do seu poder pessoal, manter melhores relacionamentos, desenvolver sua espiritualidade e ampliar sua consciência com dicas, jornadas, segredos e um conteúdo imperdível. Deseja apoiar e se beneficiar ainda mais com esse projeto? Acesse ao site XamasConet.com.br e informe-se, que as melhores energias cheguem até você. Aho, Mantaku Yoyasi, por todas as nossas relações.